Welcome to the 200th episode of the Nightly Nuge. Ted, that's incredible. It seems like only yesterday we stopped talking on the telephone every day and started doing this so your listeners can gain from your knowledge.
Well, truth, logic, and common sense is the wind beneath the American dream wings. And a big salute to you, Keith, and Tim, and Josh, and everybody here for creating the Nightly Nuge, where there is absolutely no fake news. And let me tell you, everybody who's participating in this, everybody who's listening and watching, God bless you. Thank you for spreading the word on the Nightly Nuge, but continue to spread it far and wide, because truth, logic, and common sense is the only thing that's going to save America, and we celebrate that here.
You know, Ted, you're 100% correct. And, you know, I do listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, and I listened the other day, and that's even when you're not on, by the way, which, of course.
I set a world record with Joe. We did 3.5 hours of just a bombardment of truth, logic, and common sense, and the response was unprecedented because I'm addicted to truth, logic, and common sense. A big salute to Joe Rogan. A lot of truth, logic, and common sense going on there.
Well, Ted, did you see last week, none other than Mark Zuckerberg was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and Zuckerberg admitted to Rogan that leading up to the 2020 election, the FBI came to him and said, hey, listen, you're going to be getting some information about this Hunter Biden laptop. It's Russian disinformation, basically without telling Zuckerberg to suppress it and to claim it's Russian disinformation. Now, of course, Ted, many months have gone by since then, and we know that the Hunter Biden laptop story was 100% true. What's your take on big tech admitting that the FBI is behind a lot of this censorship?
Thank God for some news agencies and the last of the real journalists that are doing their job. Number one job, First Amendment responsibility, not just a right, but a responsibility. Freedom of speech is a responsibility. Freedom of the press takes great responsibility. And there are a few out there like Tucker Carlson, like Joe Pags, like Lars Larson out in the great Northwest. Jesse Waters is coming on strong. Even our funny friend Greg Gutfeld is spotlighting cockroaches more and more.
Chris DeGaulle, you and I both have been on that show.
Chris DeGaulle, there's a lot of real, honest-to-God, investigative, truth, logic, and common sense journalists out there. But one of the worst heartbreaking tragedies in the United States of America, and I saw it coming a long time ago, and what Zuckerberg had to admit, boy, talking about a soulless, mindless, anti-American zombie. But Joe Rogan has a tendency to create like a campfire spirit. And the truth comes out, and Zuckerberg let the truth come out. The Hunter Biden story will go down in history as the trigger for identifying the runaway criminal abuse of power and corruption by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They didn't arrest Lon Horiachi for shooting Vicky Weaver and her baby. And any law enforcement agency that looks the other way and allows ATF agents to raid the Branch Davidians in a horse trailer so that they can get their financing back in line. And it goes on and on. If you don't understand that, my friends, you can even Google it if you want, or just talk to some agents like I have. And these guys hang their head in shame. They're ashamed of the FBI. American good families who rely on safe streets and safe neighborhoods and good being protected and secured, while bad and ugly are arrested, tried, convicted, and punished. Shame on you! Do you violate your oath in front of your children? Do you just rejoice in violating your sacred oath to the Constitution? Because Zuckerberg finally let it out. The FBI protects Hunter Biden, and they lie, they perjure themselves, and James Comey was your director, and now Christopher Wray is your director, and you believe these guys? Well, like the Nazis said, like the brown shirt said, like the jackboot thuds of Hitler's regime said, I was only doing my job. Your job is immoral. Your job is an atrocity. If someone told me to do my job and it was the wrong thing, I would arrest the guy that told me to do the wrong thing. Where is your scrotum, FBI? Shame on you.
Well, let me ask you this, Ted. You know, Ron Johnson, the senator out of Wisconsin, he came forward and he said, had it not been for big tech censoring this Hunter Biden laptop, he has zero doubt that Biden would have never been elected president. So maybe there was an ulterior motive. May I?
Joe Biden, we're all across the country. They're shouting out. You can edit this in a very effective manner, Timothy. Fuck Joe Biden over and over and over again. Tens of thousands of people in stadiums across America. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Joe Biden. That's what real good American families are chanting because it's appropriate. And at every rally where attendance records were shattered with me and Donald Trump, all I heard, we love you. Tens of thousands of American families in the asset column, we love you. No one has ever chanted we love you to an elected employee in the history of humankind. And no one has ever in such voluminous numbers shouted Joe Biden to the so-called president of the United States. I can't wait to hear this nightly news with all these beautiful, harmonious beeps going on. Beep, Joe Biden. Beep, Joe Biden. I have a beautiful song called Come and Take It, where every night tens of thousands of people sing, beep, Joe Biden. Beep, Joe Biden. Because nobody likes a scam artist who wipes his beeps with the U.S. Constitution. And that's why we chant universally, beep, Joe Biden.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of these days, with much therapy, Mr. Nugent is going to learn to come out of his shell and tell us where he really stands on all these topics. And I'm hoping that'll happen tomorrow night because we're going to talk about what's going on in LA, where they're going to vote to force hotel owners to house the homeless. Huh? That's what you're saying? We'll come back tomorrow night. We'll get Ted's take on that and some other things right here on the Nightly News, where there is what, Ted?
There is no fake news. And now Rod Sterling is the president.